Barnsley make the one enforced change. Martin New returning in goal for the injured Gary Pearce. New, who lost his first team place when he was hurt in the first round tie at Chester. Peter Burton is Enfield's top scorer, and by that quirk of fate, he returns today to the ground where he supported Barnsley as a boy and where he played in several schoolboy representative matches. Eddie McCluskey took his players training this morning and checked on the state of the pitch before announcing an unchanged side from that which beat Port Vale in the replayed third round, with Lee Holmes again the substitute. Today's referee, the familiar figure of Mr. Peter Willis from Meadowfield in County Durham. So Barnsley second in Division 3, kick-off against the last of the non-league survivors. Barnsley will defend the goal to the left in the first half, and Martin New with the cap on to protect against the sun. Well, there's been some needle about this cup tie already, with remarks attributed to the Enfield camp referring to Barnsley players as camels. Enfield very conscious of the need to be tight in their approach at the start of this game, not to concede an early goal. Evans has come up on the back post, and it was Parker who met it, and it's off the bar. Aylott trying to turn in the rebound, and here's Glavin, but it's out of play. But a let-off in the 5th minute for Enfield. Derek Parker looping the header over Jacobs, who was saved by his crossbar, and then by the retrieving header from Jennings. Leicester passing to play in midfield from Barnsley, which is one of their strengths, of course. Leicester going all the way, and good handling from Jacobs. Mike Leicester shimmying through to work a shooting position, as Enfield rather backed off. And safe handling though from John Jacobs. Burton, here's King. Howard got in advance of him. Tackle judged unfair, presumably from the angle of the approach, coming in from behind by Joe Joyce. And Steve King, the postman from Kentish Town. And I understand there's a coachload of fellow postmen have come up and are in the crowd watching today. Enfield leaving the free kick to Barrett, with Howell joining the end of the wall. And Barrett hits it! Oh, Martin New really had to be at his most alert. It was an almost languid approach by Barrett to the ball, and Howell perhaps peeling away to make the gap, and it was so nearly Enfield taking the lead. Oliver and Burton poised to make their runs from the back, and that was Burton who couldn't quite make it, and Tone who could. And a chance here for Bishop, and Oliver has rolled it in, but it's disallowed. It was King's corner, and it dropped to John Tone, who shot bobbled through and New couldn't hold it. Bishop was in quickly here and was clearly in an offside position as Oliver rolled it into the net. Ashford, who slips Chambers nicely. That's Bishop outside him. This is King. Now Bishop. Promising attack this from Enfield, and Wade in fact had got caught offside. The flag was up. Mr. Willis played the advantage with Barnsley in possession. Barrett. Here's Ashford. Finally King playing it in, and touched on for John Bishop, and again the goal is ruled out. So twice in the first 24 minutes Enfield had the ball in the Barnsley net. Again their expressions were a disappointed look. It was touched down for Bishop here, who was clearly offside. Parker leaning in. Barrett. Down from Leicester. Now Glavin. Aylott ahead of him. But this is Ronnie Glavin in distinctive style. And he was balked by Howell. It was a yard or so before Glavin had made an inroad into the Enfield penalty area. And banks over the ball. Downs is the Barnsley player in the wall, and it's set up for Chambers. He beat the goalkeeper but beat the far post as well. Phil Chambers was the player just waiting to the left, and he was unattended too. Struck it well. Parker has to play it back. Sun beginning to go down, and it seems likely that John Jacobs will have less problems with it in the second half. Parker. Leicester, can Aylott make something of this? Enfield had 5 defenders around him. Jacobs taking the ball outside the area as he cleared it. So, a serious problem for Enfield inside the last couple of minutes of this first half. Downs has again joined the wall. A wall that has 6 Enfield players trying to cover that near post. And it's chipped against the post, and Aylott with the simplest of tasks. And in the final minute of this first half, and really against the general run of play, Enfield are punished for the slip by John Jacobs in conceding that free kick. Glavin hitting the post, and it rebounded kindly for Aylott. So Barnsley with more than a smattering of relief, I would think, in the cheering from their supporters. Here's Jennings. Now Bishop. King. Oliver going in. Enfield nearly manufacturing a quick reply. King getting in a telling cross, and it was Steve Oliver's header that went straight in the end to Martin New. Aylott made the most positive move. But here's Bishop. Nice turn from him. King to his left. Jennings is darting through the middle to join Burton. And can Jennings reach it? Perhaps Burton can. Bishop going in. Burton again and again. It needs Leicester to clear the penalty area. Ashford. Foul by Banks. Indirect free kick. When Enfield get at Barnsley's back 4, which they continue to do, they really do look as though this game is not out of their grasp yet. Ashford. Perhaps an opportunity here for Barnsley to break forward into space, and here's Glavin taking on Jennings, who timed the challenge beautifully. But Aylott collects. The linesman is flagging for the ball having gone out of play. And Jacobs Well, it would be churlish to deny him the catch. Although I think if the referee had spotted the linesman away to the far side, he would have blown his whistle. But play was still technically going on. And 5 foot 6 inches or nothing. John Jacobs timed his approach beautifully. Leicester. Here's Glavin. Now Downs. Leicester in space, if he plays it in short, and it's whipped in towards Aylott. Well, he could have put it beyond out there, and in all honesty should have done. Bobby Downs, skill as a crosser brought into evidence again. And Trevor Aylott, unmarked beyond the far post, should have scored. Aylott. That's Parker! And the flag is up and it's been disallowed. So Enfield breathe again. As Aylott flicked it on, Parker hooked it in, and Mike Leicester had gone offside. Downs. Now Leicester. Pressured into the area by Ashford. Here's Oliver. Bishop ahead of him. Holmes trying to stay onside. Ashford trying to meet it, and New hesitated. And can Burton make it? Perhaps Steve King can! Inside of the post! And they will come no closer. It was John Bishop who curled it in. Ashford caused problems with his run, and it came all the way through to Burton, and this was the chance that he had. A brave stop by New, and then Steve King thundered it in low, past the goalkeeper, inside of the post and back into the goalkeeper's arms. Here's Barrett. 2 minutes left on the watch. Leicester can't keep it in. Be ruining that moment just before half-time. Perhaps Oliver can counter it now. And it's in! And Burton has equalised! And they're off the bench. And would you believe such scenes? With a minute and a half remaining, the Enfield supporters, who must have believed it was never going to happen for them, and Steve Oliver crossed it in. Peter Burton got a touch, and it dropped past Martin New. Steve Oliver doing so well to get the cross in, and that was Burton's touch, and he could hardly believe it when it dropped into the back of the net. So what Barnsley did in the last moments of the first half, Enfield have copied. And it's no fluke, I can assure you of that. There's Evans, Parker, and Jacobs to the biggest sigh of relief from the Enfield supporters behind his goal. Barnsley have a free kick. 15 seconds of injury time played. Jacobs has time now on his side. Howell, the substitute, ran onto the field when the ball went into the net, and now they're off the bench now. but the Yorkshireman, who hardly had a kick, to be honest, throughout the game, wears a smile that lights up Oakwell. His header, a minute and a half from time, has earned Enfield a totally deserved free play here against the side that lies second in the third division.